Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something that might seem a little intimidating, but is actually way simpler and honestly kind of funnier than you might think. We're diving into how your money can start making more money for you. So, yeah, let's get the show started. Ladies and gentlemen, savvy investors of all ages, welcome to the one and only Investment Comedy Club. This is the place where the only thing flatter than a bad joke is a portfolio with zero growth. And trust me, tonight, we've got an absolutely killer lineup of financial concepts ready to hit the stage. But first things first, let's get right to the main event, the question on everyone's mind. You put your money into something, a stock, a bond, maybe a magical bean, and then what? How does it actually multiply? Let's solve that little mystery. Okay, think of it this way. You're basically planting a money tree. But here's the best part, right? You don't need a green thumb, you don't need a shovel, and you definitely don't need to worry about watering it. All you need is a little bit of know-how about how the magic works. So let's bring our first performers up to the stage. There are really two main ways your investments put on a show and earn you a return. So please give a warm welcome to our two headlining acts for the evening. First up, we've got a real crowd pleaser, dividends. It's actually pretty simple. When you own a piece of a company, and that company does well, they might decide to share a slice of the profits with you. Now, keep in mind, not every company does this. Some younger, fast-growing companies might just reinvest everything to get even bigger. But for the ones that do, it's their way of saying, hey, thanks for believing in us. Seriously, just think of it like getting a thank you card from your favorite brand. Except imagine opening that card, and it's just filled with cash. That's a dividend. It's a direct payment to you just for being an owner. Not too shabby, right? And for our second headliner, a true master of the long game, asset appreciation. This is the other major way you earn money. It's when the thing you bought, the asset itself, becomes more valuable than when you first got it. It's kind of like a financial fairy tale. You buy a simple pumpkin, that's your initial investment, and then over time, with a little bit of market magic, poof, it transforms into a grand carriage worth way, way more. The whole game is to buy low and then hopefully sell high. All right, so now that you've met our headliners, let's get into a couple of pro moves. Think of these as strategies that can help you navigate let's call it the comedy club of the market with a little more style. First up is a total classic, diversification. I'm sure you've heard the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Well, that's pretty much the entire idea here. It is all about spreading your money around so you can lower your overall risk. The best way to think about it is like you're at a huge investment buffet. You wouldn't just pile your plate high with shrimp, would you? Of course not. You take a little bit of everything. Some stocks over here, some bonds, maybe a little real estate on the side. That way, if the shrimp turns out to be not so great, you've still got plenty of other delicious options to fall back on. Okay, our next pro move is something called cost averaging. And I know it sounds kind of complex, but trust me, the idea is incredibly simple. It just means you invest the exact same amount of money on a regular schedule, like say every single month, no matter what the market is doing. So let's break this down. Step 1, you pick a fixed amount of money to invest. Step 2, you do it regularly, like clockwork. Now, here's where the magic really happens, in step 3. Because your dollar amount is fixed, you automatically end up buying more shares when the price is low, and fewer shares when the price is high. Over time, this all averages out your cost and can really set you up for a win in the long term, all without stressing about trying to time the market perfectly. And that, my friends, brings us pretty close to the end of our show. But before we go, it is time for the encore. This is the one big idea that we really want you to take home from tonight's performance at the Investment Comedy Club. So, here's the bottom line. Whether it's through those cash dividends, the magic of appreciation, or by using smart strategies like diversification and cost averaging, you can put your money to work for you. Your investments can become these little personal money-making minions, just working around the clock to build your wealth. And that leaves us with one final question for you. Now that you've seen this show and you've met the performers, how are you going to get started? Are you going to focus on dividends, growth, a little bit of both? What's going to be the opening act in your personal investment story? Thanks for coming out tonight.